from tapping into the fans' nostalgia to a lack of new characters, let's take a look at how the downfall of the Karate Kid reboot may have allowed the rise of Cobra Kai. Anyone who loved Karate Kid when they were kids loves Cobra Kai now. But did one lead to the other? If it's not clear yet, Cobra Kai is a continuation of the Karate Kid story. Though it has a narrative of its own, it's based on the original Karate Kid story. It takes place 34 years after the events of the first Karate Kid movie and follows the lives of the same characters we know and love. One of the things that makes Cobra Kai so special is that it doesn't ignore the events of the previous movies. Instead, it acknowledges and builds upon it. We see how the characters have grown and changed over the years, and we get to explore their present-day struggles and conflicts. Ralph Macchio and William Zabka reprise their roles as Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence, respectively, and other familiar faces from the Karate Kid movies also make appearances throughout the series. But why did Cobra Kai have to do that when the Karate Kid had a reboot of its own? Many fans speculate that the fall of the 2010 reboot left viewers wanting more from the original. So how did Karate Kid Reboot fail so badly? The Karate Kid franchise is a beloved classic that has been entertaining audiences for decades. So in 2010, when the news of a reboot hit the media, fans were excited to see what was in store. However, when the movie was finally released, it failed to live up to expectations. One of the biggest problems with the reboot was the lack of respect for the source material. The original Karate Kid movies were about a young boy who learns karate from an elderly sensei, but the reboot changed the location and made it about a young boy learning kung fu in China. They changed the whole story. This change not only upset fans, but also made it difficult for the new movie to establish its own identity. But that wasn't all. Another issue was the casting of the film and its overall direction. Jaden Smith, who played the role of Dre Parker, was a talented actor and still is, but he lacked the charm and charisma that made the original Karate Kid so iconic. His performance was lackluster, and it failed to capture the spirit of the original. It almost feels like Jackie Chan single-handedly carried the whole film, but even more importantly, the movie failed to capture the heart and soul of the original. The original Karate Kid movies were about the importance of hard work, dedication, and perseverance, but the reboot failed to convey these themes in a meaningful way. Instead, it relied on flashy action scenes and special effects. The reboot failed to capture the magic of the original due to a lack of respect for the source material, poor casting directions, and a failure to convey the themes that made the original so beloved. And funnily, those are the exact reasons people love Cobra Kai. So how was Cobra Kai created, and how did it become a hit?
You kicked ass today. Could have gone either way.
Yeah. Thanks.
Back in 2010, the creators Josh Harold, John Hurwitz, and Hayden Schlossberg first had the idea of revisiting the Karate Kid universe. They pitched the idea to the studio, but it was rejected at the time. 7 years later, YouTube Red was looking for original content to compete with other streaming platforms. The creators pitched their idea once again, this time with a twist. What if they told the story from the perspective of Johnny Lawrence, the bully from the original movie? The idea sounds so new and interesting, doesn't it? YouTube Red seemed to agree as they greenlit the series, and the first season of Cobra Kai premiered in 2018. The show's success can be attributed to a number of reasons. First, it tapped into the nostalgia of fans of the Karate Kid, while also introducing new characters and storylines. The show was also able to balance humor, drama, and action in a way that appealed to a broad audience. Another reason was the show's accessibility. Since it was initially released on YouTube Red, which offers a free trial, it was easy for fans to check out the first few episodes without committing to a subscription. This helped to build buzz and generate positive word of mouth, especially on social media. Ultimately, the success of Cobra Kai led to Netflix acquiring the rights to the show in 2020, which brought it to an ever wider audience. With the upcoming 4th season and a 5th season already announced, it's clear that Cobra Kai has become a cultural phenomenon phenomenon and a worthy successor to the Karate Kid legacy. So was it only able to happen because the reboot failed? Well, it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation when it comes to the success of Cobra Kai and the downfall of the Karate Kid reboot. Many argued that the reboot failed because it didn't capture the same magic and nostalgia as the original movie, while others may say that it was simply a mediocre movie. On the other hand, Cobra Kai capitalized on the nostalgia factor by bringing back original characters and storylines from the 80s classic, but it's clear that the success of Cobra Kai was definitely influenced by the lackluster response to the Karate Kid reboot. When fans didn't get the Karate Kid fix they were hoping for from the reboot, they turned to Cobra Kai as a way to relive the glory days of the franchise. The show's creators also made smart choices, such as making it a sequel instead of a reboot, as well as focusing on the original characters instead of introducing new ones. So while it's impossible to say for certain whether Cobra Kai would have been as successful if the Karate Kid reboot had been a hit, it's clear that the reboot's failure opened the door for the rise of Cobra Kai. The show has managed to capture the hearts of both old and new fans, proving that sometimes the best way to succeed is by looking to the past. But even now that Cobra Kai has taken the place of Karate Kid, the original still lives within the new series. The legacy of the Karate Kid is undeniable. The original movie, released in 1984, has become a cultural touchstone, inspiring sequels, spin-offs, and imitators. But how has the legacy of the Karate Kid impacted Cobra Kai? For starters, like I mentioned before, the show would not exist without the original movie. The creators of Cobra Kai have been very clear about their love and respect for the Karate Kid. They've even gone to great lengths to honor the original while also taking the story in new directions. The show is filled with Easter eggs and references to the original movie, and many of the same actors from the original have returned to reprise their roles. But beyond just fan service, the legacy of the Karate Kid has had a profound impact on the themes and storytelling of Cobra Kai. The original movie was about a young outsider who learns to stand up for himself and fight back against bullies, and those same themes are present in Cobra Kai. The show explores the idea of redemption and how people can change and grow over time. It also examines the complex relationships between parents and children, mentors and students, and friends and enemies. Overall, the legacy of the Karate Kid has been a driving force behind the success of Cobra Kai. It has given the show a strong foundation to build on, while also allowing it to explore new and interesting territory.
And we're just as proud to announce we'll soon be opening Cobra Kai franchises throughout the entire valley. So every one of you young men and women here.
That was all for how Karate Kid's downfall aided Cobra Kai's rise.